Oh man, we back again, y'all. I know what to do once y'all come in the building, right? Smash the thumbs up, the like button. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't. Do me that favor. And smash that hype button when you see it. It's right by the comment. You're gonna see the hype button also. Smash that button also. But today's topic, obviously, y'all see the thumbnail, meaning the profile picture. We got a legendary guy named Prince Supreme Miller. And we already know what happened about a month ago when the big dog, his uncle, Supreme McGriff, put a message out there in a documentary that they actually dropped not so long ago. I think it called Supreme Truth. Go check that out. It's under Prince Miller on Prince Miller Supreme is under his Instagram, Gerald Prince Miller on Instagram. Go check that out. Shout out to Prince. But actually now he's doing these interviews. Because he did speak on the one interview he did. He said, listen, I'm going to do my interviews, but I'm going to start my own podcast and I'm going to put more work out there, meaning that he's going to put more confidential information about the confidential informants. And in this interview he did an interview with Can Capone. Shout out to Can Capone News. Make sure y'all go subscribe to Can Capone, dope interviews over there. And he broke down something very interesting on how he got arrested the day they walked in his house. They didn't knock the door down. They walked right in. Hey, let's walk in and go see Prince Miller. That's exactly what they did. Open the door, walked right in. Boom. They go to boys in his house. He actually explains about that. He talks about that. But then when we rewind and we go back a little bit, y'all remember Bimmy? Shout out to Bimmy, man, because I have nothing against Bimmy. I'm just doing my job, reacting to somebody that he actually looked up to, meaning Prince, his mentor, Supreme also, that's putting these allegations out there saying that he been a 40-year CI, confidential informant, allegedly, and everything I speak on this video is alleged. But there was the thing that actually it was a narrative. And before we start the video, I just want to say this right quick. Prince and Bimmy did live under the same roof. We heard that come out of Ben's mouth, and we're gonna go back. Ben actually did. He spoke about that. He said, "Yeah, we lived together for all this and that. We was always in competition. This and see, the key word is competition." He said him and Prince always had a love and hate relationship. A lot of people didn't catch that. So when I caught that, pause, that tells me that these two always bumped heads here and there. But Prince always loved Bimmy on the strength of Supreme, his uncle. Let that marinate. If y'all always had a love and hate relationship and it was always a competition thing, once we get the video started, so y'all might as well buckle up because we're gonna be here for a while. That's telling me that Prince came home and whatever information he got from his uncle and all that, and I'm asking y'all, is it possibility that Prince never liked the Bimmy? That's the reason why he's putting these allegations out there. And he's allegedly probably telling his uncle, like, man, listen, enough is enough. We pushing this narrative out there. Maybe they assuming Bimmy's the confidential informant. Because when Prince break this situation down, how they locked him up and walked right inside the house, he said it was only but so many people that he had let come to that crib. But him and Bimmy did live together. Let's get this show started, man. This is nasty work. And it's for us to paint the picture and who to believe until that paperwork really come out on the 1990 situation with Prince getting locked up and he saying that maybe it was Bimmy that got him arrested, and the 1985 situation with his uncle Supreme saying that Bimmy got him arrested in 1985, but he been a confidential informant ever since for 40 years. Let's talk about this because this is nasty work and it's for us to judge. Smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, smash that hype button. Let's get this show started. Yo, 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 yo. If they know, they know. It's your boy Smoke News TV, man. We back in the building. Smash that thumbs up, subscribe to the channel. If you haven't, don't know what you're waiting on. I'm gonna look around for you. Smash the subscribe button. Smash the like. It ain't gonna hurt your feelings or cost you. Share the video. Keep that notification bell on so you know when these videos are actually dropping. And try to get your membership. Know what I mean? Team Smoke Game to support the channel. I appreciate all that. Appreciate everybody that been rocking with me. Let's get this cop right out the way, man. Copyright fair use disclaimer. You can find that in my description on my channel. Everything that I speak on over here is absolutely for educational and entertainment purpose. Again, copyright fair use disclaimer. You can find it in my description on my channel, on this channel. Everything that I speak on over here is absolutely for educational and entertainment purpose. The clips and the videos I play are also owned by the original creators. We're gonna get straight to it because this is a little about 7-8 minute interview that he did with Ken Capone speaking on this particular topic. How they came in 1990, arrested them, walked right in. They didn't come with the squad. They didn't come with the jam, you know, the door jam when they come knock your door down. Now, Prince said they walked right in like, "Hello, anybody in here?" And he's saying the only way that could have possibly happened, a confidential informant that's very, very, very close to him. So when I think about this, the one that lived with him the most and said like, yeah, you know, Prince ain't never took no showers. I'm not saying this. Bimmy said this. We're gonna get to that right after we get through this. Bimmy said that, not me. He lived with Prince, and he said it was always a competition thing. It was always a love and hate thing between them. So we not no dummies over here with bobbleheads over here, like, oh, I don't see. No. Niggas that's from the streets, when you hear love and hate, and then your uncle was the head honcho, meaning supreme, and his nephew Prince, that's not too off on the age from Bimmy. I gotta remember, Prince and Bimmy's about almost the same age. They're not too far apart. That part. Of course, your nephew's not gonna be feeling a nigga that you don't like, but your uncle is keeping them shielded and protected, meaning Bimmy. Anybody ever thought about that? Prince probably never liked the Bimmy from day one. It was always a competition thing, according to Bimmy. But let's continue. Let's get to this new Prince Miller interview, and we're gonna react to this, and we're gonna continue. We're gonna get to Bimmy. Smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, man. Like one up. Y'all already know the vibes, man. Shout out to Prince. Shout out to Ken Capone News for doing this interview.
In 1990, you get arrested for racketeering, money laundering, leading a continued criminal enterprise, and other charges, and you're looking at a life sentence. How did you find out you were being arrested?
I didn't find out I was being arrested in 1990. What happened was I had got dropped off at my house, and I lived in Queens Village at the time. 223. I forgot the exact address, but it was in Queens Village. It was a mother-daughter high ranch house, top and bottom. Nice. I lived in Queens Village at the I didn't find out I was being arrested in 1990. What happened was I had got dropped off at my house, and I lived in Queens Village at the time. 223. I forgot the exact address, but it was in Queens Village. It was a mother-daughter high ranch house, top and bottom. Nice place. And yeah. And so what happened was when I went in, I just got dropped off by my people. They took me in, and only let certain people come to my house. The only one that come to my house is the people that I know will give their life for me. Nobody else. We grew up with each other. We trust each other. We know each other's mother and father. And so they dropped me off. The ones who always dropped me off. I went inside, took a shower.
I'm gonna pause it right there because this is a very, very important part of this interview where he's speaking on. Because this have to do with something with Bimmy also, which I'm about to paint the picture for y'all. You see, we just can't always go off on the OGs. I respect Prince. I respect Supreme. I respect the niggas that laid the foundation out there, and they did what they had to do to survive. But sometimes some people can be delusional. They try to paint other pictures and blame other people. And one thing I always say, if you've been watching my videos, it's a lot of favoritism on who they want to choose to be informant, rat, confidential informant, if they don't have the paperwork. So in this particular part where he said, the only ones know where he live at is the ones that always been dropping them off. So we know Bimmy lived with him. We're going to get to that. We know that the people that's very close to him, the ones that been dropping them off, only at this location, they only know about this location. And this is location that actually locked him up. And remember, they saying that Bimmy allegedly, this is what, according to the narrative, Bimmy allegedly called the house and told Prince's girlfriend to unlock the door. She told Bimmy that Prince was asleep. And she said that Bimmy told her, like, unlock the door on my way there. According to that same moment, that's when the cops came. They opened the door and said, hello, we in the building. But Bimmy said he denied that. But I want y'all to understand, besides Bimmy, who was the other people that's very close to Prince, that the only ones that been dropping them off at the location that only a few know where they at? Why we don't question them? They could be confidential informants too. The ones that was dropping Prince off, the ones that he said that, yeah, you know, we know our moms and dads and all this. Okay, but sometimes them type of people could be switching on you also, Prince. I'm just throwing that out there, OG. Just because the ones we grew up with and we all know we mother, moms and dads and all this, that shit don't mean nothing sometimes, champ. And we all know that, and you know that. Is them other niggas solid? The ones that you speak on, the ones that dropped you off at the crib that know the location, besides Bimmy? You sure they were solid? You telling me they straight solid? They're not confidential informants either, whoever the others are, the one that's close to you. That's my question. I'm just throwing that out there. Let's continue though, because like I said, it could be a lot of confusion going on also. I'm just here to do my job and react to what we hear and what we see. Let's continue though with Prince talking about the situation. Smash that like button, subscribe to the channel. Remember, only close ones knew about this location. We're gonna X Bimmy out. Who's the other niggas though that always drop them off? Is they solid? They not on paperwork or nothing, right? They good? Because we need to know this. If you're just gonna say Benny's the only confidential informant, there's a such thing that called favoritism. Who they want to pick sometime. If you don't got that paperwork on that 1985 situation and 1990 situation, because we're only speaking about these two situations. His uncle getting locked up in 1985 and him getting locked up in 1990, whatever, 89, 90. We're not talking about 1996 where they saying that Bimmy is the confidential a foreman under some paperwork named Music. We're not talking about that. We're talking about the early heydays. The two honchos. Let's continue. Smash that like button, subscribe to the channel.
So they dropped me off. The ones who always drop me off. I went inside, took a shower. At the time, my wife at the time, Suzette, she made me something to eat. I ate, I went to sleep. We were both in the bed sleep, and the police got to my bed.
I'm gonna pause it there. Now, remember the narrative was that Bimmy had supposedly called the house. He supposedly called the house. Prince never mentioned this in his interview, though. Remember that narrative. Come on, we all been following this. And when people in the comment be like, nah, Spook, I remember that. They were saying Bimmy called the house and told Prince girl to unlock the door because he was asleep. We remember that narrative. Prince never mentioned this in his interview, though. Maybe he forgot. I don't know. Sometimes, you know, you did a lot of, homie did 34 years, 10 toes down. We talking Prince. He did 34 joints. That's a long time. So sometimes your memory might be off. But he did mention they was both asleep. Him and his girl. The narrative was that Bimmy allegedly called Prince's house, the house that they both shared. Because we're going to get to Bimmy. That's why I said buckle up. We're going to be here for a while. He said that he called up there, the narrative, but Bimmy denied it. He said he never called the crib. Prince talking about this same situation. Prince never mentioned that somebody, I'm going to say somebody, called the house. So what should we believe? Should we believe that somebody puts a narrative saying that Bimmy called the house, this and that? But then according to Prince doing the new interview, he said him and his girl was just asleep. And he woke up with the boys just walking in the house. So maybe Prince forgot about the phone call. I'm gonna play a little bit, maybe he forgot because you could lose your memory after 34 plus years. So maybe he lost that point of view. That point right there, that very important information. Come on, y'all. What's going on here? Because according to what we heard, Bimmy called the house. His girlfriend picked up. They both were asleep. Bimmy said, "Yo, where Prince at? Prince is asleep." Bimmy said, "Yo, should I wake up Prince? This is Prince's girlfriend. Should I wake up Prince?" Bimmy said, "No, just unlock the door." And then she hung the phone up. That's how the boys just walked in. And Prince gonna talk about that. But where was the phone call though? Smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, man. We here for a while.
Dogs. I went inside, took a shower. At the time, my wife at the time, Suzette, she made me something to eat. I ate, I went to sleep. We were both in the bed sleep, and the police got to my bedroom door so quietly. They didn't have to knock the front door open because the shit was left open, and they walked right in there and they went right into came to my bedroom, and that's when they tried to knock the door. I had that door locked, and when I heard it, I looked up, I reached down, I slept with a shotgun there, sawed-off shotgun there. I picked up the shotgun, but then I seen the letters on the front, and I threw the shotgun in the closet, and I got arrested right there. Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah, they could have blew my head off because for real, if they would have seen the gun in my hand, they might have opened fire on me. I'd have been dead, man. So I'm glad I threw that shotgun fast, man. Yeah. And then arrested us, yeah. I had no prior warning I was gonna be arrested, right? So, because you said, how did you find out you was gonna be arrested? I had no prior warning. They just came. Yeah.
Did you have any clue that they were onto you?
We started thinking they had my phone wiretapped. Look, they had my phone wiretapped, and we kept talking like, yo, man, they listening to our phone calls. But I didn't have an actual clue. I just knew that the phone might have been tapped. You know, they use, in my case, and they use informants and confidential informants, right? And I know you know the difference between the two.
Now, this is the part where he's going to start talking about how the confidential informant. Hold up, before we continue, smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, man. Do me that favor. Don't forget, smash that thumbs up, ladies and gentlemen. But anyway, this is the part where he's actually going to get to the rat, informant, and confidential informant. You see, when you get to the end of the confidential informant, according to Prince and according to a lot of people, and according to the people, us, whatever, that people that got a little bit of sense, they seal information. Because when you get to that point, now you're working with the feds, you're working with some high profile. I mean, you're working with them type of individuals, so they could seal they could seal it without nobody knowing. This is the part where he's gonna get to. Now I'm gonna refresh your mind. There's only could be about the people that dropped them off at the crib that always drop them off according to the OG, and there's only close ones that know where he live at. And then there's another person named Bimmy that lived with him. So that little circle that they got to actually choose and try to figure out who's the confidential informant, because they don't have no real paperwork on that 1985 going all the way to 2025. That's what they're saying. Bimmy's a 40-year CI, according to his uncle and him. But there's no paperwork though, because they could seal it. We're not dumb. They could seal them paperwork, and that shit could be hitting for years. But who's the other dudes too? Is they solid? Let's get to the rat, informant, and confidential informant. Let's continue.
I mean, we know that's what we've been talking about lately, but that's what they use in our case. In order to get the wiretaps and the search warrants, they use informants and confidential informants. And the confidential informants were the ones who actually were right in the midst of us, and they knew everything kind of going on, and they would tell them certain things. And in fact, I had a hearing, and at the hearing, when I had a hearing to suppress the shotgun that I owned the shotgun. I made sure that I took ownership of that so that nobody else would get arrested, right? And so I tried to suppress it so they don't use it at trial. And I really wanted to learn how did they find out things. And what happened was they let me know that someone gave up that they basically where I lived in the house, where I slept in the house, and they had pictures of my wife, had pictures of her that they got from the informant and all kind of stuff, man.
Now I'm gonna pause it there. This would it get interesting at. Because for them to know where you sleep at and what room and all this, you had to live with them. You see, I know in the beginning some people are like, no, Smoke, come on now, you taking up for Bimmy and all this. And listen, I'm trying to paint the picture. I'm trying to figure this out like everybody else trying to figure this out. All of us, we trying to figure out what the hell is really going on here for his uncle to put that on a documentary saying Bimmy's a 40-year informant, confidential informant. That means that shit started from 1985 when Supreme got arrested and when Prince got arrested in 1990 and continue. But the only way a person could know where you sleep at and all this and that, and how to break it, to show you what the bedroom map and all this. Only thing I could think of is somebody that he actually trusts, and maybe those are the people that drop him off and maybe come in the crib once in a while. But if the cops know a little bit, way too much information, it's got to be somebody that you live with. And who live with him? According to what we know, Bimmy. Ooh, ouch. I mean, this is nasty work right here. I mean, whoa, like Bimmy. For them to know where the bedroom at, where you sleep, this and that and the third, all this and that. And only way they can know that type of information if somebody live in the same household with you. And according to what we know, I'm not making this shit up. Bimmy said it's out his own goddamn mouth in the interviews. We're gonna get to it. Yeah, I live with Prince. I mean, we share the same roof and the same, all that. Who Prince dated, they was related. Two of the girlfriends they dated, they was related. They was sisters or some shit like that. Let's continue. This is nasty work, man. Bimmy, man, you got to come out, man. You got to do an interview, champ. You really do, man.
Oh,
Was they let me know that someone gave up that they basically where I lived in the house, where I slept in the house, and they had pictures of my wife, had pictures of her that they got from the informant and all kind of stuff, man.
oh, okay. So Sis was somebody close to you, very close to you. Then.
Yeah, very, very close, yeah.
Wow. Okay. Well, I seen that you beat the state case, so they dropped the state case and the feds picked it right up?
Right. What happened was, I'm glad you asked me this story because this is interesting. This is where it gets interesting. First, we get arrested by the state. In 1990, March 21st, 1990, it was the state that locked us up. Queens prosecutor's office locked us up. When they locked us up, we moved to suppress the wiretaps. We got locked up first for a drug case. Then they charged us with some homicides. And so we moved to suppress the wiretaps. And when we moved to suppress the wiretaps, before they moved to suppress the wiretaps, they took me to, I think I went to trial first on the homicides. I was found not guilty on the homicides, all of them. Since I was incarcerated at the time when they alleged that it occurred, I was found not guilty. It was a weak case from the start. Number one, they said I ordered some murders, which didn't happen. And it wasn't even a true story. So I knew I was going to win that case. But then we moved to suppress the wiretaps. That was a little different. And what happened was one of my co-defendants got his suppressed first. And they knew that they would have to expose who the rat was. So instead of exposing who the rat was, right, they elected instead to have the feds pick the case up because the rat was too important to expose.
Bingo. So that's the part that get very interesting. He's saying the state, they couldn't do but so much. They can't hang on to that confidential informant but so long. They can't keep them secretive but so long. But when the feds come, the big boys come. That's when that confidential informant can sleep real good at night. could continue with their life. Because their paperwork gets sealed. If you that very important and you connected to the streets and you know a lot of things that, because they don't want the small fish. They be wanting the big fish. They'll take a little bit of the small fishes in the streets, but they want the head honchos and a little bit stuff like that. So they keep you very, very important. And they might keep you very important because of the case that you gave them. You gave them high profile people. Supreme McGriff and a guy named Prince Supreme Miller was giving up records up down there in Southside Queens. I mean, we all know the story about Supreme Team. So when you give them two type of individuals up, oh, you good. Those are very high profile cases. So they knew what they was doing, but it goes back to what I was saying. Is the other niggas a salad, the ones that drop them off at the crib, you know, all right, Prince, we see you tomorrow, nigga. I mean, the ones he said that he considered brothers, the ones that only know his spot besides Bimmy, that live with him. We just can't look at Bimmy unless they got some paperwork on the 1985 and 1990 situation between him and his uncle getting locked up. We're only going off what the head honcho was putting out in the documentary recently, saying that saying that Bimmy's a 40-year informant. Confidential as that. Hello, what we talking about here? So we got to look at the others too, the one that he trusted, meaning Prince. Because if they could keep Bimmy allegations sealed, what make you think they can't keep the ones that was dropping you off sealed? The homies that drop you off at the crib and all this. The ones that you trusted also. But remember, him and Bimmy always had a love and hate thing, according to Bimmy. Let's continue and get this interview out the way, though. Peep this out, man. Smash that like button.
So what they did was
and with the feds, they can hide the rats longer, right?
Right. And so what happened was, in my case, my co-defendant wiretaps got suppressed. My wiretaps actually never got suppressed on my house, right? What happened was they didn't want to have certain hearings because I was asking to see the rat. I wanted to see the person walk into court to see who it is. And I think in their minds, they said, we can't do that. We have to protect who he is. So the feds took the case to federal court. And then later on, they threw the case got thrown out. You know what I'm saying? Ours would have got suppressed anyway. We did have a hearing. I think we had some kind of hearing. I got to go back and look. And then we waited to see what they was going to say. But when the feds picked the case up, it was nothing else to say. They ended up throwing everything out. So I beat the homicide cases, the quadruple homicide, and then they suppressed my co-defendant's wiretaps. And then they just threw mine out, and we get to federal court.
Okay, and this is all while you're still in jail? So you're fighting?
Yeah, I tried to make a bail. They wouldn't let me make bail. We put up property to make bail. My bail was, I think, either $500,000 or $1 million. We put up something, but we had to go to Court of Appeals. We went to the courts because they wouldn't accept what we put up because they said we had to put up more or something like that. So we put up some property, then they said we had to put up more or something like that. So we ended up losing in the Court of Appeals, and the feds came and got us and took us before anything else. And I never went home from there. I went straight to the feds.
Because the feds knew exactly what they was doing. That's why smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, and share this video. Do me that favor. Smash that hype button also. The feds knew what they was doing. They made it hard for Prince to come home on a bail. They knew goddamn well we can't let these niggas come home, Prince come home, because he gonna find out, or he gonna try his best at that time to find out who was the informant that got him arrested. These are high profile niggas we talking about back in the 80s and early 90s and all this shit, man. The Supreme Team was heavy. So they was easy to find out little things, but when the feds jump on it, it's gonna be a little bit harder. Pause. The state ain't gonna be able to do what the feds doing, the technology and all these little things they be doing. They can't do that. So what the feds do? Oh, we're gonna make it harder for this guy to bail. Now he ain't come home. You crazy? Boom. They start throwing more money on top, more money on top. They made sure he didn't make no bail to keep their confidential informant allegedly safe out there in them goddamn streets. Duh, it makes sense. That's why Prince is putting things together. And obviously his uncle putting things together too. They sitting back. Listen, when you live in that fast life, you can't put things together. You can't figure out who the goddamn confidential informant. Because you worrying about the feds, they on you. But when you sit down and you doing the time and all this, and you reading through them discoveries and all this, you start painting a little bit of picture and you try to figure this shit out now. And that's where we at right now with the friend and foe situation between Benny and his mentor and another dude he looked up to also, me and Prince. That's where we at right now. But let's get to Bimmy saying that they shared the same house and all this. I just wanted y'all to remember that interview he just did. It was only but so many people knew the crib. Bimmy lived with him, and he had some others that dropped him off. And that's my question to Prince. Is them others actually good? They could be confidential informants too. I don't know. I'm just asking the homie a question here. But let's get to Bimmy when he speaks about him living in a household. It was a love and hate situation between them. I gotta paint the picture here, man. Love and hate competition. That tells me that his uncle was holding Bimmy down. That was Supreme McGriff little man, not Prince little man. That part. You got to think about it. Let's continue though. Smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, share this video.
My block. Me and Chris had a hate-love relationship.
Okay.
Like one day, my block, I don't know how much I was making that day, but I know I was shut the whole fucking Queens down.
You heard that? He said me and Prince always had a love and hate relationship. And he gonna tell you, how to block and all this, how he was getting a lot of money. Peep this out what Bimmy saying.
And me and Chris had a hate-love relationship.
Okay.
Like one day, my block, I don't know how much I was making that day, but I know I was shut the whole fucking Queens down. And we had a rule that the color top you use, the color top you gotta keep. Like, you know what I mean? Orange, just as orange, Prince was yellow, I was green. They didn't have no more green tops. So I sent my people to Harlem to get me rainbow. So I only got rainbow tops. Prince, you always ride around with about 30 motherfucking niggas. So they ride around looking like who can all this fucking money, because our spots are slow.
Yeah.
He come on my block. He see the lines around the corner.
Damn.
He like, yo, let me get one of what I got. I got the same coke he got. But anyway, he seen the color top. He said, yo, who shit is this? He said, it's Bimmy. He said, yo, stop selling this. So my man Drew said, no, I'm not selling. I'm not gonna stop selling until Bimmy tell me to. Chris said, what are you talking to? So he had his man Big C pick him up, put him in the garbage can.
Damn.
He said, tell Bimmy come see me. So I went to go see him and said, I'm like, yo, why you put my man in the garbage can? He said, yo, you know the rules. Why you change the car? They ain't had no more green. So I gotta, just for the day.
Yeah.
He said, nah, you gotta change that. You know what I mean? I'm Prim was in jail the whole time, so Prim was there. He said, we gonna visit my uncle, we can just tell him what happened and all this and all that.
Now y'all heard that. Supreme was locked up. Supreme locked up off that 1985 situation. I'm assuming. Because they talking about Tops. Tops is in the 80s, going a little bit into the early 90s. I know. I was out there in the streets as a youngster. So I'm assuming this got to be in the 80s. Prince locked up off the 1985 situation. According to Bimmy, Prince homie threw Bimmy man that was selling the work for Bimmy in the garbage can, my niggas. Disrespected him. Went to Bimmy, told Bimmy, nigga, you better change it up, nigga. You know the rules. You don't change no tops. You don't change the colors of the tops. We're talking 80s. If anybody know the street life, 80s, caps, tops, all that, that's the crack era. What we talking about here? That part. But you see what I'm talking about. Prince and I'm assuming Prince never even liked the Bimmy, bro. Prince never liked the Bimmy. And every time things happen between them two, I'm assuming, allegedly, they always go to Supreme because Supreme held Bimmy down like a little brother, like a little nephew. But Prince is really his nephew. And I think Prince had a little agenda, pardon me, a little competition and jealousy and envy about that. I'm assuming, allegedly. Let's continue, though. This is nasty work. So it makes sense what's going on now because these two never really got along, bro. It was only on the strength of their uncle, on the uncle, the head honcho. That's Supreme McGriff. It all makes sense. They had a love and hate relationship plus competition. Let's continue, though, because Bimmy ain't done.
So more green, so I got to, just for the day.
Yeah.
He said, nah, you got to change that. You know what I mean? Prim was in jail the whole time, so, Prim was in there. He said, we're going to visit my uncle. We can just tell him what happened and all this and all that. You know what I mean?
Damn.
So, Prince was like a dude. Me and him live together. Same house, same roof. Like, you do certain shit, and then come home like, yo, let's take the girls to the movies. I'm like, yo, come on, yo.
This would have get interesting at. I want y'all to see, I'm playing it back because a lot of people probably, this would get very interesting. Remember when Prince said they walked in the house, unlocked the door, the cops walked in, hello, nigga, we in the building. They lived together. They lived together, Bimmy and him. This is the part where he's speaking about it. He's saying this always been a competition thing. I'll do something for my girl because both of their girlfriends were related. Peep this out what Bimmy's saying. This is very, very, very important between the friendship they had. And it was only on the strength of Supreme McGriff, what I'm looking at and what I'm thinking over here. Let's go back. Let's play rewind. Peep this out.
So Prince was like a dude. Me and him live together. Same house, same roof. Like, you do certain shit, and then come home like, yo, let's take the girls to the movies. I'm like, yo, come on, yo. You just threw my man in the garbage can. You don't do some crazy shit to me. But you want to go to movies with me. Yeah. Like I bought my wife a TV. He bought his wife a bigger TV. Depending with me. And I'm like, this dude is crazy. I don't have to fuck with him because he had all his marbles. This dude, the whole time I lived with him, he never took a shower. He never took a bath. Damn. He always washed over 2 guns on the sink. You're not catching him. No type of way. You know what I mean? And he wore suits. Like, he always wore suits.
You heard that. He said Prince took bird baths and kept burners in the shower because I guess Prince was always paranoid back in them days. He always thought somebody was gonna run up in there and lay that cloud boom down. So Prince was always on point back in his heydays. Who lived with him? Who know that type of information? Bimmy. That's why Prince is assuming, allegedly saying that this nigga's a whole confidential informant because now Prince is coming out, putting things together, little details that only a certain person would know in the household, I guess. And that's when he's saying that that's Bimmy. But the part that he didn't mention in the new interview, meaning Prince, is the part that they threw out there saying that Bimmy called the house and Prince's girl picked the phone up and told Bimmy that he was asleep and Bimmy told her to unlock the door, but Bimmy never arrived. Instead of him arriving, the goddamn police arrived, opened the door and said hello. We just heard that from Prince. Prince just said that in the interview in the beginning I just played y'all. But he never mentioned Bimmy calling or somebody calling the house. But who know all the little information about where the bedroom at, where they sleep, bathroom, all that, is only somebody that actually can live with you, that be in there all day, every day. For him to say, yo, this nigga never took a shower, he slept with burners, the glock booms in the shower, you know what I mean? Because he was always paranoid, he ain't got his marbles. Nigga, the only way you would know some shit like that, nigga, you got to live with the nigga. Am I lying? I'll sit back and wait. This is very spooky, man. And then they had a competition thing among each other with the females they was dating because the females are related. He just told y'all that. Yo, Prince, OG, respectfully, you never liked the Bimmy, bro? Because that's the feeling that I'm getting throughout this whole thing. And there's nothing wrong if you never liked it. Because we all know Supreme probably kept Bimmy protected because he's the head honcho. And that's your uncle. Let's continue. Now Bimmy going to speak on the phone call situation. Yeah, I ain't never make that phone call. We didn't even have a phone in the house. But according to Prince, on the new interview I just played y'all, shout out to Can Capone, Prince said they did have a phone in the house. But that phone wasn't tapped, according to Prince. He said that in the interview. But look what Bimmy said. Smash that like button, subscribe to the channel. This is nasty work, man.
He told me to shut up.
Yeah.
Told Bimmy went home and told me to shut up.
Yeah.
Told Bimmy stop talking. Shut up.
When? Recently?
Yeah, recently. 2 weeks ago. She told Bimmy to shut up.
He's like, stop talking.
Stop talking.
Yeah.
Oh, these niggas nothing?
People trying to say you called the house and asked where Prince was at, then the crib got raided or something.
Now, how dumb does that sound?
Yeah.
Right? First of all, we never had a house phone. That's number one. I don't have his wife's phone number. That's number two. Number three, my wife was there.
Yeah.
Why am I calling her phone?
Yeah.
He said, well, Prince there.
Yeah.
What am I ask her for?
Yeah.
I'll never ask her about.
Now he gonna say they never house. They never had a house. Prince said it was a little. Prince broke down the crib how it was. Go back to the beginning when I played y'all. Prince said he actually broke down how the house looked, whatever. We don't care if it was a house and apartment, nigga. I hate when Bimmy I hate when niggas try to use little details like that. But the most important thing he said, my wife did. Like I told y'all, the two girls were related. He said I would have just called my wife, my girlfriend at that time, but like, yo, Prince there. So we don't know what to believe here, bro. We because Prince ain't tell us that somebody called the house in his new interview. He said they just walked in. That's it. He said him and his wife was asleep. But according to the narrative and the allegations, allegedly, what we're hearing, Bimmy allegedly called the crib and spoke to Prince's girlfriend and tried to say where Prince was at. Prince was asleep. He said open the door, but he never arrived. The cops came. This is narrative. But according to Bimmy, he said that shit never happened. But like I said, when you're confidential informant, they say a lot of things, man. Let's continue. Allegedly.
Yeah. What was that? Then the crib got raided or something.
And 2 weeks ago. He said, she told Bimmy to shut up.
He's like, stop talking.
Stop talking.
Yeah.
Oh, these niggas nothing?
People trying to say you called the house and asked where Prince was at, then the crib got raided or something.
Now, how dumb does that sound?
Yeah.
Right? First of all, we never had a house phone. That's number one. I don't have his wife's phone number. That's number two. Number three, my wife is there.
Yeah.
I'm not calling her phone.
Yeah.
He said, was Prince there?
Yeah.
What am I ask her for?
Yeah.
I'll never ask her about him.
Yeah. What they found in the house?
A shotgun. See, now he wrote affidavit saying that anything I find in here is mine.
Yeah.
It's nobody else's.
Yeah.
So he wrong? He snitching?
Yeah. No, man.
on,
People
man.
are crazy. He said, I'm taking all the weight.
Yeah,
What they charge him with? Murders?
According to Bim, he said he never called the house. We don't know what to believe, yo. We really don't. But let's continue. This is Uncle putting that narrative out there for all of us to try to paint a picture, trying to figure out if Bimmy a 40-year informant, because it's all started with Supreme putting this in a documentary. Let's continue, man.
Conspiracy charges.
He had been arrested and prosecuted based on a search of a premises that he was in.
These were dirty cops who were working with a dirty, lying CI. Sergeant Foster and Myron Cherry both lied under oath just to try to arrest me. James Bimmy Anthony has been a CI for over 40 years. Bimmy is the CI they described in this search warrant affidavit and lies that 2 people were kidnapped and beaten in near death. It was a lie. When they did the search, no evidence of a kidnapping existed. This is what informants do. They lie. And the police and prosecutors don't care. They just want to win no matter what.
Ultimately, they threw out the search, but now the federal government was paying.
Y'all remember, before we get out of here, I'm going to play one more clip. But before we get out of here, he got arrested in 1985. He appealed it, came home 2 years later, about 1987 around there. I'm speaking on the OG, Supreme McGriff. But then he only stood home for about a few months. He appealed it because the search warrant was supposedly be 2 people that was getting tortured in a house by the members of Supreme Team. But when they came in there wasn't 2 people in there. They only found drugs, guns, and all this. So at that time, you got a good lawyer, you can eat that up in an appeal and come home. He did like 2.5 joints, whatever, 2 joints, came home, but he only stood home for a couple months. The feds came and grabbed him. And this is the icing on the cake right here. Because when you hear Prince talking about his situation, how they didn't want to give him a bail, and the feds came and picked the case up, and he never came home after that, it's similar to what they did Supreme McGriff. He was home for a few months. Maybe, allegedly, the confidential informant was getting too shaky and told him like, yo, the homie's starting to get on to me. Y'all gotta come and grab him up. Supreme McGriff was home for about 6 months to 8 months after he came home off that appeal of the 1985 situation. They appealed it a couple of two years. He came home. The feds came and grabbed him. That's what he's trying to explain to y'all. Go see the documentary. But see, when you paint the picture, when the feds come to get you, they saving a confidential informant also. It's a bigger case now. Now they can seal it. Maybe the person was getting shaky because McGriff was on their neck, but he couldn't figure it out really who was the confidential informant at that time because the feds came and grabbed him. This is nasty work, man. I'm only painting the picture, man. Let's get to this last clip, though. Smash that like button, subscribe to the channel.
You got informants and you got confidential informants. These are three different things. Rats take the stand, whether it be grand jury or trial. And informants give information and don't necessarily have to ever take the stand. But then you got confidential informants. They are the worst because they provide information and they wear the cloth of respectable criminals. When in reality, they're the ones feeding the information to the authorities while you're doing your thing, and they're right there with you doing your thing. And the thing with the rats, the difference between the rats, the informants, and the confidential informants is, it's very hard to get papers on the confidential informant, and the confidential informant knows it. And that's why you hear most confidential informants say, "Where's the work?"
Oh, wow.
See, and the reason why that happens is because they know their handlers protect their work so serious.
That part. It makes you think, man. It makes you think about this whole situation with Prince coming out, know what I mean, home. He's putting things out there. His uncle putting them Bimmy all in the documentary saying that he's a 40-year informant, confidential. It makes you think. Because with Prince's situation, before I get out of there, I'm going to let y'all be the judge. Y'all comment. Put y'all smoke in the comment. I want to hear y'all opinion about this, especially the ones that know about what's going on with this situation. New York, the whole tri-state, nigga, the whole East Coast, nigga, we all know what's going on. We tune in. I want to hear everybody else that know what's going on here too, if y'all tune in, because we know the story. But see, it's a similar thing. 1985, they raid. Boom, he appeal, come home. Stay home for a few months. Confidential informant get a little shaky out there. Probably hit the feds like, yo, y'all got to come get this nigga. Or I ain't going to be here no more. We see that in the movies, documentary. That shit really happens. Feds come rush in 6-8 months and come grab him. Off the same goddamn case, but then charge him on the federal, charge him as a Fed case as that. Confidential informant still running the streets. 1990 come. Prince get locked up now. Between 87 and 90, when they came and got Supreme off the 6 months he's still home, when the feds got him, it was only Prince, Just, and Bimmy. We all know that. This is documented, it's in the story. Prince is saying this now in the new interviews. He's saying when his uncle got locked up in 1987, when he was only home for a few months, those was the only three niggas that was keeping that shit alive. Prince had his own crew, Bimmy had his crew, and Bimmy was linked up with, rest in peace, Black Just. But who was the confidential informant? They're saying it's Bimmy, allegedly. But there's other people to question too now. I'm up out of here, man. I'm gonna let y'all let y'all put y'all smoke in the comment, man. This is nasty work, man. This is friend and foe situation that's never gonna end. So put y'all smoke in the comment, man. I want to hear y'all own opinion about this, man. It's crazy, man. Shout out to Cat Capone for that interview. Shout out to Prince, man. Shout out to Bimmy too, man. Bimmy, you gotta come out and do a new interview, man. You gotta explain what the hell's going on here, respectfully. I'm up out of here, man. If they know, they know. It's your boy Smoke News TV, man. Salute, gang. I'm out of here, man.